Hey y'all.
Hey,
How are you guys doing today?
good.
Good. Sunday. We getting close to the holiday. How's everybody doing?
Good. Making a do, going through the motions. Oh, going through the
Going
motions.
through the motions. What you mean?
Like in a good way though. Y'all were like,
Oh, because normally when somebody say going through the motions, that mean that they barely making it.
yeah. No, not this week. Maybe last week. No, I'm just joking. Just
What
getting
about you, Phoenix? What about you?
I didn't even hear the question. I was in the zone.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I laid in bed for a long time, and that's something I don't usually do.
Okay.
I'm always moving, grooving, doing something busy, but every now and then I find a window to just lay and relax. And today I did that.
Well, good. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. Okay, so everybody know today we have Phoenix, author. She's an author, Phoenix Brown, on our show today. And we're going to start with the icebreaker right away. And the icebreaker is going to be simple. Like, are you guys ready for Christmas? Are you spending a lot? You got a lot of stuff for the kids. Like, what's the plan for you?
I'm not spending a lot. I make it a point not to spend a lot.
Okay.
Because Daryl, my fiance.
Her fiance.
His birthday is 2 days before Christmas.
Say it proudly.
It's 2 days before Christmas. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, babe, what do you want? You know?
Okay.
And he keeps saying, just you enough. I'm like,
I love that answer.
I tell my mom, she's like, that's so sweet. I said, it really is. I said, but I'm gonna give him some stuff anyway. Cause he was like, you saying yes to me, that's all I need. I'm like, okay, thank you, honey, but I know I like to give gifts. So
I like that answer because my friend told me that I was his gift, and I'm just going to go and get one of those headbands that's got the gift wrap. The
bow on.
But it's a headband though, and I'm gonna be like, okay. But no, I did get a gift, so people don't think I'm being goofy.
Right.
But like, cause how we had on the sweetest day, that sex was the gift, remember? Yeah. And the guy said, "Don't do that."
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So, Phoenix, what about you? Are you spending a lot for the kids? You done shopping or what?
I am going to do the bare minimum.
Right.
My kids are a little bit older. Yeah, I'm gonna do the bare minimum.
Okay, nothing wrong with that though.
No, nothing at all. I probably I know I'm gonna give my nephew something.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the bare minimum.
Okay, nothing wrong with that though. No. Whose video is that? Oh, you gotta turn the volume. Yeah, just turn the volume down. That's okay. If you want to be in the video, just turn the volume down. So, Tanya, what about you, right quick?
For me, yep, right quick. Oh, I want to take the longest, but no.
Oh, okay. Take the long road.
We all got jokes today, but I'm just thinking back to what Keisha said. So I'm trying to, be savvy with my Christmas shopping. And for the past years, we've always done the 5 gifts for the kids, and so I've just been doing that with a few more to go.
Okay.
And and I have to make my husband get something. I have to get it and then throw receipts away because he's so quick to say, I don't need that. Take it back. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm good. I don't need that. Oh, right. Just give me some underwear. He's like, I'm like, yeah, you're not like D. Oh my God. Are all men like that? Yeah, I'm like, you're not 70 years old waiting for your grandkids to give you a gift.
So you still believe that you need a physical receipt to take stuff back because they can just pull it up from your card now.
Girl, I'm the take back queen. But I'm saying that's what Kev, because he don't go to the store, so he don't know how it works.
Oh, got you.
He don't know how anything works. He's like, no. So yeah, but
do you guys re-gift?
I've done it before. I haven't done it like recently or anything like that. It's been a long time.
I have a bad story about regifting because I ended up gifting back some stuff to a person.
The original
And,
person.
yeah, and they wrote a Facebook post about me.
Did you do that by mistake?
Well, yeah, I kind of did. But the thing is now you see that it was cheesy. You know what I'm saying? So, oh well. But we'll introduce Phoenix in a minute. Where are we going today, ladies?
All the way there.
All the way there.
Oh, guys, I do this every single time. Stop making me the DJ. Everybody, what was that little rock back there with that second little beat that was happening?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh yes, we're good. So today, guys, we have author Phoenix Brown, Q Brown, and we are so glad to have you here today. Yeah. So we're going to tell the people a little bit about you. So, Phoenix Brown is a young woman who have dealt with multiple traumas by the people who she thought was supposed to protect her. The fight for her life began at an early age, and the story of most Black families also became her own. Little did Phoenix know that the little seed she planted would give her hope, and the biggest struggle would be the journey of finding self-love. Phoenix gives insight to everyone's experience, someone's trauma, and hopefully the resiliency to survive. Now, my thing is, I know you wrote a book. So tell us a little bit about the book first before you get started.
So just like the introduction that you gave, pretty much it is just about a young woman coming of age who had to deal with different traumas, such as mother that was an alcoholic, 2 sisters that were on drugs, abuse, neglect, dealing with sexual abuse. So a multitude of different things that she was either directly done to her or that she was exposed to.
Okay.
So that is what the book is about.
The title, what is the title of your book?
Behind the Scenes, The Rise of Resilience.
Okay. The Rise of Resilience. I like that. That is a pretty book cover.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The Rise of Resilience.
So did you say it was fictional? I'm sorry, I missed that part. Is it nonfiction or fiction? I think she's frozen.
Uh-oh, did she freeze?
So until she come back.
Yeah. Keila, do you know?
It's her story. It's her real life.
It's her real. Oh wow.
It's like a autobiography type thing.
Okay. Yep. It's pretty much about her. You know, she's really frozen.
Yeah.
Like she haven't popped back in yet. Wonder, can she hear us? Can you hear us?
Probably not.
But yeah, she gives her book. There she go.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Tanya had a question. Even though I answered it, I'll let her ask you.
Yeah, so I was wondering if it's nonfiction or fiction, but then I think someone said it's
nonfiction.
So it's your life.
It is my
autobiography.
So all of these are true stories, true events that happened. Nothing was sugar-coated or covered up or fabricated, any of that. So everything is factual in there. Now, what I will say is that I did leave a lot of stuff out, only because that would be bringing other people into the story. And then that would have led into me getting their permissions and also getting, telling I felt like we'll be telling their history and their background and different things too. And I didn't want to, so I tried to focus on the events that I experienced.
Yeah,
now, one thing,
I got it.
Right. Now, one thing that I did like about the book, because I did read it, it was it was a deep story. I mean, obviously, it's your life, but she was very comical. So, you know, it was almost kind of like, wow, you know, this is kind of sad. But she had like this twist that kind of, and I don't want to make it seem like it wasn't serious, but she just added her. You could tell her personality came through the book. So I thought that was great because it was a couple of times I kind of laughed and I was like, okay, she's funny, you know. And then she gave a little bit of history, you know, which kind of remind me of, you know, how in the Bible it was like, and John was the son of such and such, and he was the son of such a. She kind of did that in the beginning of the book, and I'm like, okay, so I can tie all of these people to, you know, this story. I'm like, okay, so that's the aunt, and then that's the such a. So I thought that was pretty interesting that you kind of gave the little family tree.
The purpose behind that was I wanted to make sure that the generational portion, the history, was very clear. I wanted, when you read a story, I want it to be, you know, clear, like you could just really follow along, as well as, you know, have, you could just picture it.
Right, and that's exactly what it created.
Wow. So I want that setting. I want to be very transparent. I want to put everybody in place. I want it to be an easy read. I didn't want people to be trying to figure out, well, who or what?
Now, what was interesting to me, knowing that you are from Michigan, in my mind, I had created this whole Southern thing in my head, like this is like some type of Southern story. But then when you told me you were from Michigan, I'm like, well, where did this happen at? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. My family is rooted from the South. My mother, grandmother, great aunt, my family is actually from the South.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know you had quite a few things that you kind of want to get off, but we already talked about what inspired you to write the story. You did touch on that a little bit. You wanted to, because you work with youth. So let's talk about how you even got into that part of it.
Ooh, I'm going to give you a quick story. I'm not going to give you the whole story, but I'm going to give you a quick story. The quick story goes pretty much like this. I've always knew I wanted to help others.
Okay.
I've always had a helping nature about me. I'm a nurturer. So I do know that about myself. I was going to go into nursing and took all the prereqs for nursing. Didn't really know very much about social work at the time. And when they had a hold on the nursing program, even though after I had the prereqs and it was full, all of that, I said, okay, I don't want to just stop going to school. So I started going through the catalog of different things. Maybe I can get certified in something else while I'm waiting. So mental health social work. I said, And when I read it, the description, I said, this sounds like me. It's a good thing that all of my credits transferred over to that program. And when I went over to that program, I never looked back.
Nice.
I started off with this, so getting my associates in mental health social work, then going on getting my bachelor's at Marygrove, and then getting my master's at Wayne State University. But I didn't know growing up, social work to me was the DHHS worker.
Yeah, right.
That was it. I never knew the field was so big, so broad.
Okay.
And they had their hands in some of everything. Politicians, in the medical field, just so wide, so open. So I fell in love with it. And in the process of me trying to just do better for my life and provide more for my children, I also that's when I began to heal.
Okay.
That's where my healing process began.
So you share some stuff in the book. Give us one story that you may, want the audience to know, because it's called From Trauma to Triumph.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that that a lot of people may deal with, that you dealt with, to go where you overcame this.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't even know how to really answer that because there's a lot of them. But you just want me to pick out one story?
Yeah, pick out something.
Yeah, whet our appetite so we could run and get this book.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give the story about my mother. This one particular incident where she was always doing her drinking. Um, and she took me with her this one particular time to her friend's house to do drinking. As usual, my mother drinks to the point that she gets so drunk that she can't function. She was a non-functioning alcoholic. So we ended up staying there the night at this friend's house. But in the middle of the night, my mother was kind of like sleep like in a chair, and I was like right across from her on the sofa. But I'm facing her, looking at her. It was a man and a woman that lived in this apartment-like setting, condo area. I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway, the man came out naked, and he undressed my mother. And my mother was just she was out of it. She was passed out. He started undressing her, and I kept just holding my eyes tight, but kept opening and looking at what was going on. And I didn't say anything. I don't know why I didn't say anything, but at the time I didn't know why. I know why now.
Mm-hmm.
But then she started to come to, and she was just kind of swung like no, and he beat her. He beat her, and then his girlfriend came from the back and tried to figure out what was going on. And we got put out in the middle of the night, and we had to walk home.
How old were you, Phoenix?
Oh, I had to be roughly around, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 years old, around that time.
Well, I would imagine you didn't say anything because of fear.
Yeah,
I was already being sexually abused myself.
Right, I'm about to say, because you never know. He probably would have came over and tried to,
Right.
Yeah.
So
I could just. So you share a lot of these stories in the book. How did you start? Where was your turning point? Where did you say, Phoenix, I got to flip the switch. It's time for me to reach out. Like what triggered your turning point?
So growing up, I had little seeds of planet seeds that you spoke on. Those little planet seeds are just, sometimes as kids, we do things to cry out for help. Like there was one point in time I contemplated suicide. That's in the book. Just different things, planet seeds. And then my hope came from just little things of people showing me that they care. My brother and my sister-in-law was, I call them my parents. And they showed me little things. They gave me hope. They were my role models growing up. Because even though I lived in one environment, when my brother would come and get me and take me over into that environment, that inspired me because I wanted this. I want to live like this. I want to be like them. I want to be successful. I want to have this. I want to, that gave me hope. And them showing me care and love and different things. Inside, I told them now, of course, but as a kid, that kind of sparked a little bit. And then once my mother did make the transition when I was 15, I went to live with them. And, they showed me a different way of living. So those were little things, but still internally, I was still hurting. So, and I'm telling you all this because I can't really say, hey, this was the time frame that I really just turned around and said, I want to make a difference. I already had in the back of my head, I wanted more out of life. I just didn't have a path. I didn't have the blueprint. I didn't have a plan as to how I was going to get there. But because I had somebody that was showing me little things, I knew it was possible, but I still didn't know how. Once I went over there when I was 15, they kind of, the arrangements and living there was different. There was more structure. And I always tell people I went from unstructured household to a structured household. So I'm making sure I did my homework, making sure that they, were part of my life and participated in my life, making sure I was at church every Sunday. So different things, and being disciplined. I know kids don't like to be disciplined, but sometimes I felt like that discipline was good for me. I needed it. Because having that that unstructured, that freedom, there was too much things coming in and out, you know, and that's how things happened to me. That's how things happened to my mother. That's how I was able to see what was going on around me. So that was different. But then, because I do have a second book coming. I'm gonna jump a little bit further. So when I tell you that I went when I was trying to go to school for nursing, this was later on in years, and I got into the program mental health and social work. That's where I began my healing. That's when I start to begin to understand who I was, where I come from, and I needed to make that transition. I also knew that I couldn't help anybody else if I couldn't help myself.
Mm-hmm.
So at 30 years of age is when I began to heal.
So when you said that helped you heal, was it you going through the program through school?
Not just going through
or you working with the youth?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
It was both. It was going through the program because the program challenged me to look at myself and what was going on with me. So that was one. Then when I transitioned, that was when I got my associate's degree. When I transitioned over and was getting my undergrad, I met. I don't know if you guys heard of Kalima Johnson, Sasha Center. Well, she was one of my professors, and I had a class. I had one class with her, and we watched Precious. And the challenging thing with that was she challenged us to say, hey, if the predator was your client, what would you do? How would you do that? Because now you're the professional. And you can't be biased.
Yeah. So I'm interested in knowing when you when you were working with your clients, and were there any instances where your clients went through what you went through?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel initially?
In the beginning, I got emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I got emotional and I had to pull myself out, and I had to go to my supervisor. The good thing about the supervisor I had, and she's still my supervisor, Sonia Shellman, she was very encouraging. She was understanding, she was encouraging, and helped me work through it. She didn't tell me to stay there. If I needed to let it go, then that was on me. But she also kind of challenged me in ways to see what was it that I wanted to, what I needed to do for myself, and continue to work on my own healing too outside of the profession.
Which is good. The one thing I've noticed, that one connection with no matter what topic we all have is it all boils down to people saying that they finally had to have a plan. Like everything boils back to that working out, trying to overcome certain things. You have to have some type of discipline and some type of plan. That is always a necessity. And it's good, it's good that you got placed with people with some structure. Everybody, I think we had a couple of podcasts where we talked about just having the right people in your circles, to help you overcome some things. People who will kind of help you pull those things out, like you say your professor did, because those things are extremely important. And that's why you giving back to the kids. Like, you really never know who you're helping. You really don't know who you're helping. Years later, you just don't know. That's why it's kind of always a good thing. I know it's easier said than done, but to always treat people a certain kind of way, because you don't ever really know what somebody else is going through. You just really don't. Like, a lot of people hide that on the inside. I know you, because you do have a master's degree in the social work area. I know you were very passionate about talking to people during this holiday season and just dealing with all the different type of emotions and everything that they go through. Yeah, all the triggers. So did you want to touch on that? I'm not going to say a little bit, a lot, however you want to touch on that.
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit. Well, as far as the holiday seasons are concerned, whether it's Christmas time, whether it's Thanksgiving, no matter what um, holiday season, but because we're approaching Christmas and New Year's, like you said, people have these things they want to lose weight or different things like that. They have these plans in place. Um, and sometimes people get depressed, more depressed, and have anxiety around the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what plan you have in place, if you don't have emotional regulation, that plan won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, as far as the holiday season is concerned, I want people to be more conscious and aware of what they're dealing with. They may be faced with different triggers of what happened even in the past or in their lifetime at all, because everything is not always based on childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You can have traumatic events even in your adult age, whether it's domestic violence and missing a loved one, or you lost a loved one, gun violence. We can go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But being a mental health professional, um, just those being very aware of yourself, making sure that you identify who your who are the people that you can talk to and feel safe with, who could get you through those moments. Having finding the things that's going to bring you comfort in a healthy manner, because people will go to drugs, they will go to alcohol, they will even overshop, and people don't think that is
Yeah. Yeah.
overshop, and then feel guilty after they do the shopping. They want to take it all back.
And then buyer's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. More so, different things can affect them during holiday season, and just find ways to self-care for yourself emotionally to get through.
I think that is so important.
Yeah. Self-care and healthy. I work in a mental health facility, but self-care and definitely some healthy coping mechanisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are some healthy coping mechanisms?
So some healthy coping mechanisms may be, if you want to exercise, maybe meditating, writing, maybe one of them. Talking out, or if you have a therapist, if you don't have a therapist, but talking to somebody you could trust. Those are healthy coping mechanisms. So not going to things that that's going to harm you more.
Yeah.
Than you could.
Like drugs or alcohol, stuff
or
like
overeating,
or debt.
Yeah.
But even overeating, can be unhealthy in ways. So there are different, or just doing things that'll gratify you, but negatively impact you.
Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah,
And
so you mentioned your brother. You mentioned that you moved in with your brother when you were 15.
Yes, actually, right before I turned 15, because my mother had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So they had already knew that she was dying, so they made arrangements. So right before I turned 15 years old, I moved in with my brother and sister.
What's the age difference with you and your siblings?
16 years with my oldest brother. My sister, 14 years. My other sister, may she rest in heaven, 13 years. Mm-hmm. And my other brother, I think it's like 9 years.
So it's 5 of you all.
So you were the baby for real.
Did they know any of this was going on? Did they experience the same thing with their childhood with your mom?
What's interesting is that when I wrote the book and I talked to my older sister, she told me some things that happened to her when she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
My older brother shared some things with me that happened. I didn't get to talk to my other sister. And then for the brother that is 19 years old, he was one of my violators. He was one of my perpetrators.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. But that's what this is about. It's about from trauma to triumph.
Yeah.
And clearly, you don't suppress it to make it seem like it's insignificant, but you have clearly traveled a very tall mountain, and glad to see that you made it on the other side to reach back and help some people because sometimes people aren't even in the frame of mind to even want to help other people because they don't want to deal with that. They want to leave it behind.
Right. They don't want to open it up.
Right. But no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say, and the thing is that I have had people tell me, well, you don't look like what you've been through. No, I'm glad too, sir. I'm very blessed. So glad. And then on top of that, it's just, people always judge.
Yes.
And I know that's a human nature. Don't get me wrong. I know that's a human nature. But people just assume, and even with me, that, I haven't been through things. And it's like, I've been through too much. And that's why, it just especially when it comes to kids, it won't allow me to just justify some of the actions that's being done, or allow, just to watch other people, how they talk about kids or down. It's like, you never know what they're going through in their life.
Right.
Because
exactly.
The very thing that they're exposed to, I'm a lucky one. I'm a blessed one. I'm a lucky one. But everybody does not get to this place because they feel like it becomes the norm for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
Do you work with children now? Are you in DPS or?
I do work with children now. And I work with kids ages 5 to 18 years of age. 21 is still deemed appropriate for services, depending on their cognitive level. If cognitively stable, they get transferred out to adult services.
Girl, they probably think you one of the kids, don't they?
I know.
I'm like, she looks so young.
She does call me she said I'm a what did she call me? The teen whisperer or something? A teen girl whisperer? She called me the whisperer or something.
That's a big compliment.
Yeah. She said I do good with teenagers. So
we know about counseling, and we know, but sometimes you talked about that vicious cycle.
Yes.
And like I refer to it kind of like the hamster wheel. Yep. How do one begin to try to get off the hamster wheel? Because people sometimes recognize it, but they do not. And I think one of you guys said it, they just get stuck. They get stuck, but they really do want to get out of the wheel.
Well, I would say two things that I feel right now off the top of my head you would need. One, you will need you want the will to do it.
Okay.
And the second thing is finding the outlet that's going to give you the way to get off of it. So my brother and sister-in-law was they were my path to getting off. Had I stayed in that situation, I'm not sure where I would be at right now. I don't know.
So how do you what would you tell somebody who may be watching, maybe they're a teenager or an adult, they're in their trauma. And so what tools would you suggest, or what outlets would you suggest that they, find themselves and get out, especially if they're scared to, especially like a child?
As far as a child is concerned, and so this is twofold with children. And I say that because we have that blind trust right now. And they don't know who to trust. Try to find somebody that you could trust, that will have your best interest and will be able to show you a different way of doing things. I will say, get therapy, but that's not always accessible, because kids, you have to have your family's permission.
Right.
You have to give them, have them to help you sign up, depending on the age. You can get some services, but not too many. So maybe a counselor in your school to try to help support you in different ways. So that's a real tough one. That's a hard one. As far as adults, what I will say to them is, seek out therapy. I would say write it down. What is it that you want out of life? And I can't say you won't always have the tools to say, "Oh, I know how to get it," because we all don't know how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing applies. Still find the very people. You know how we sit up there and say, "Well, if you want to be successful, then put yourself around successful people."
Yeah.
Right. So put yourself in around somebody that is still going to give you that helping hand, that lifting hand. Seek out therapy if need be, and begin the process. And sometimes you have to start the process with healing in yourself, loving yourself, forgiving others that are around you, in order for you to get out of your own way.
Forgiveness is important for the healing part, and I think sometimes people misconstrue that forgiveness means to forget or to go back around a person and act like it never happened, and that's not exactly what it means. Sometimes you can forgive and set up boundaries. I am a firm believer in boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And once you kind of show me, like say you do have this trusting person,
mm-hmm.
and they don't respect it. Once I can be a little bit transparent or open, or what's the other word I'm looking for? I think somebody said last week, once I'm there and you kind of abuse that, then you set those boundaries up. That's not a person of trust. But some people say, okay, well, maybe that happened, and they continue to keep going back to that person. But boundaries are important for the healing process. You have got to set up some boundaries. If that means blocking people out and keeping them blocked, because sometimes, the reality of it is when you're going through stuff, you're going to have those moments. It's like a detox, almost like a detox. You detoxing from a person or a thing. You have to go through the withdrawals, and you gotta create them boundaries. I think that's the only thing that'll start having your mind, feeling a little bit more sane. I don't know.
Being able to say no is okay. Being able to say enough is enough. Being able to say I want more is okay to say. Being able to say I'm worth it.
Yes.
Is okay to say. Being able to say I love me.
Mm-hmm.
Is okay to say and do.
That's true.
And you do have to know that you are worth it. And that's pivotal, especially for a lot of women and men too, because men act out in different ways. But for women, sometimes we do feel like we are not enough, and then we don't take the next step to help us do better. True. Because we don't feel like we're enough. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. That is extremely important.
Yeah. And we go back to like forgiveness, just being able to forgive. And you may not be in a conversation or be able to be in a conversation with someone to tell them, I forgive you. Because it has to be done from within. Correct. And I think, Phoenix, you said that you really didn't start to heal until you're like 30.
Yeah.
And your mom died when you're right before you were 15. Yeah. So are you saying that didn't happen for you? The forgiveness for your mom didn't happen until you were 30? Or when did you start that path to forgiveness for your mom?
In my 30s.
In your 30s?
Yeah.
30s.
Because I blame my mother for a lot of different things, but now that I know that she was just sick.
Mm-hmm.
She had, I don't believe that, everything that happened was not her fault. It was intentional. But I blamed her because I used to say, well, pretty much it was her fault because if she wasn't drunk all the time, if she wasn't, this, if she paid more attention, if she did this, she did that, then maybe these things would have happened to me.
Right. And then you probably realized too when you were older, the reason why she was getting drunk, it was probably, it was a unhealthy coping mechanism, something that probably happened to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering, but everybody is gone now pretty much.
Yeah.
And so I can't, I wish I could have or had the opportunity to ask more questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I can't. So sometimes, and I want everybody to understand this and hear this, sometimes you have to close chapters on your own. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can't just wait and always just dwell in the would have, the could have, should have type of moment, sometimes you have to just begin the healing process and go.
Yeah, because that could be all the closure you get. It's a closure that you give yourself because you can't go out and find. Okay, so I'm just curious because your mom, alcoholic.
Mhm.
So do you drink, or do you may not want to say on air?
No, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually a new question for me.
Mm-hmm.
So with alcohol, one of the things my great aunt used to tell me, be careful because alcoholism runs strong in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful. When I was probably in my early 20s, I used to get drunk to the point probably like my mother did.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. It wasn't extremely bad to the point that, but I had moments that, yeah, it was bad. So yeah, but I do still drink now. I do not drink like that anymore. Some lessons were learned and different things like that. So no, I drink in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't go there.
That's okay.
I will tell you this though, because I have 3 kids. None of them have ever had, even but growing up, none of them have ever seen me intoxicated. I had my first son when I was 20. I think I told you guys earlier that I have a 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 20 years old, I had a son, and they had never seen me intoxicated, which is I kept them up, protected them from that. So if there was a night that I went drinking or whatever, I made sure that they were well taken care of in great hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nothing like that. But
did they know about your grandmother?
For me, huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just knew for me though, alcohol was, if I would have kept going, it would have became a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do they know about their grandmother?
They do.
The childhood, they do.
I told all of them before I even wrote the book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to know, and as I was writing the book, I still kind of touch bases with them and talk to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
They were aware. When I was finalizing the book, I still had another conversation with them about it. So they were all okay with it. They were the people that are living was my biggest. That was my biggest fear about putting out here. It's like because I still have people here that are still living, and me telling the story. And when I got from my family that they were okay with it because they felt like it's your story, do what you need to do. That's all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all I needed. And then I had a couple of friends that were kind of very supportive too, like, tell it, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Finish it. Because I was procrastinating for a minute because I was scared.
Yeah. And I know by writing that book was very cathartic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me on a very emotional roller coaster. And even when I had to go ahead and edit it myself or reread it, I did. I cried every time I did read it.
I can imagine.
My brother refused to read it though.
Mm.
He said he doesn't want to read it. The one who raised me, he said because he doesn't want to get angry.
Mm.
Not really with me.
Yeah.
Just because of what happened.
Yeah.
So I respect that. He bought 3 books though.
Okay. That's all that matters. That's all. Thank you, brother.
Right. Well, that's important.
He bought 3 books, but he said I'm not gonna read it. He's like, I'm proud of you. And he'll try to promote me as much as he can, but that is the end of story.
Yeah.
May I share one other thing, guys? My book, Phoenix Q Brown, because I know you guys call me Phoenix. Y'all know that's not my real name.
Right.
I was about to ask you that. I was going to ask how did you get your name Phoenix?
I got a pen name.
So we don't leave it as Phoenix, but what I will tell you where Phoenix came from, though.
Rising.
Okay.
So Phoenix, do you guys know about the mythical bird Phoenix?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know that's out there listening, the mythical bird Phoenix is said to live thousands of years, but dies by combustible flames, but reemerges from the ashes. Mm-hmm. So if you ever see me with the phoenix or butterflies, I love the phoenix bird, and I love butterflies because it's a representation of transformation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't die, you were reborn.
Right.
And I love the fact that they got wings, so they're flying, they're taking off. So flying.
Right. I love that too.
Q is because my first name is Marquita. It has a Q in it, and I just love the Q that's in my name. About the Q. But brown, I had a real hard time with loving my brown skin. Loving that was part of myself. I had some self-hate too. Hating how dark I was, and used to wish I was light skinned. Even tried bleaching cream one time, but we're not gonna talk about that.
No, was that because of something your mom said or did when she was?
My mother used to always tell me. Now the thing is, my mother used to always tell me she loved me every day, and she used to always call me her black beauty, but that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
When I was at school getting teased,
kids.
What was African booty scratcher? Just different names. And then what my older sister, she used to call me black bitches and stuff like that. Now she tells me, she said, "Look, girl, love your skin," but you didn't. But it was always black. It was black, bitch, black there. And then she had this boyfriend that used to always call me Coco Christie. So it's just
the names that other people, the labels and stuff.
Yeah, and the only person I used to see that was dark as me was my brother, but everybody else I was around was always lighter. So, so Phoenix Q Brown is a representation of who I am.
Okay. So you just like renamed yourself, rebirth, came from trauma, just like started a whole new life.
Yes.
I have something. So I know we talked about a lot of the trauma, but without giving away too much of the book, what were some of the triumphs?
Graduating from high school was the last part of it, but graduating from high school, I didn't even see myself getting there. And
look at you with a master's degree.
You go, girl.
Yes, ma'am. But yeah, graduating from high school was one of them. I would say my high school years was probably my best years of school. But that was also with my brother and sister-in-law too. I got more involved with different things. I guess I acquired some friends. And I was active. I was on the girls' basketball team. I ran track. I was even on the cheerleading team. I was president of student council in my senior year. So I've never seen any of those things for myself at all. So being able to see even that I have even a creative niche about myself. I used to love to write poetry. So those are just little things, and just for somebody to notice them and be a part of it and support it and nurture it. Those were some of the
your triumph. I like that. That's all within finding yourself, finding out who you are, your purpose in life, because we all have one.
This is true. And I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know my purpose for a long time. I will give y'all some insight because I do have a part 2 book coming out too.
Okay.
Part 2 will my troubles, my trauma didn't end there. I still went through some other stuff. Even as an adult, still trying to find my way and still trying to find self-love. Because just because I was involved in those different things in high school doesn't mean that I was still loving myself and felt safe and secure and happy. I was still trying to figure things out internally. There was a lot of things that I didn't share with my brother and sister-in-law. And even if you read the book, and you, Keela, you said you read the book, even during that time, even being in that household, I was exposed to some other stuff that I didn't, know was, that happens on the good side in family.
Okay.
So that was different for me. So I always say I had the best of both worlds. I know that sounds crazy, but I had the unstructured and the structured side, but also I got to see that even though I had all this trauma here, I got to see that on this other side too, in this family, it's not always peaches and cream too. When you see the family got together. there's still different things that people go through.
Yeah.
So it gave me, I felt like it gave me a well-roundedness.
More like a little more balanced, huh?
Yeah. And then going into the second book too, my 21-year-old son was my saving grace.
Oh.
And I'll leave y'all with that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I can't wait for the second book. Do you have a release date?
No.
Okay.
Are you
I know it'll be 2021 though, huh?
Are you in the middle of writing it, or you haven't started yet?
Oh, I've started.
Okay.
I've started. So it's like I'm starting and stopping, but it'll be ready for 2021.
Okay, so hold your book up one more time for the people before we go.
Yeah.
So you can get
Behind the Scenes, The Rise of Resilience.
And they can order it.
They can order it through my website at www.phoenixqbrown.com.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have right now. We're getting it on Amazon and everything, so that's coming soon. But www.phoenixqbrown.com.
Okay.
You have a Facebook page?
I'm sorry. Yes, Phoenix Q Brown is my Facebook page, and my
Instagram.
Instagram is Phoenix_QB_author.
Okay.
Make sure you put that all on our page.
We'll have that on my page.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely make sure we put that up. So with that being said, every week we give like the all the way there honorary podcast award. And for all of the social workers and people who are out there helping, such as yourself, we want to extend the award to you guys today because especially with a lot of the things we are dealing with right now. I mean, 2020 alone has been a lot for people, emotionally, physically, and financially. So for all of you people who are out there, trying to help people keep their minds right, we just say thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for giving back because, it's even though you have getting some form of payment, it's still giving back because some people can give you advice, but some people can't touch your mind. You know what I mean? So there is a difference. So we really do appreciate that. And then we normally close out with some words. And everybody, do you guys have anything that you want to close out with?
Just piggybacking on the whole topic, just don't let your trauma don't end at trauma. Work at it so it can be able to turn into a triumph and a victory.
Mm-hmm.
I know for some, it's better said than done, but there are people out here who's willing to help, and don't go through this life with that bottled up. Talk to someone professional because it will help. It will help.
Yeah. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, just for those of you that's going through anything or just in everyday life, just start every day like it's a new day. And always have it set in your mind that you're going to finish strong no matter what, no matter how it starts. Just set in place that I am going to finish this day strong. And your day may stretch over a week.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing is just to keep confessing to yourself, just as Phoenix did, she's going to finish strong, and she is. Because she's here, she's living to tell, and she's helping other people. So always do that too. Help someone else. If you see someone else struggling, help them to finish their day strong as well.
What about you, Phoenix?
Well, I would say my main purpose, especially with sharing my story and doing the work I do, is to help people to hope, cope, and achieve. And to achieve means to survive, and to survive means to be resilient. So I leave you guys with that. If you want to be resilient, just just start. Just start somewhere. Reach out to somebody that you can trust. And no matter what age you are, you can begin.
I like that. And the only thing I have to say is kind of piggybacking off of what Tanya said. Only thing I can the image that comes to my mind is I remember when I very first started trying to work out, and I would be crying because it didn't look like it was working. But I remember a friend of mine, like every single time you eat right, every single time you work out, you are working toward the goal. Don't give up, even when you're not seeing it. So even when you're trying to overcome these traumas every day, it may still look like you're still stuck in the same rut. But as long as you keep moving forward, you'll get there. You'll get to your destination. Just don't stop moving. Whatever you do, don't stop moving. So with that being said, we wanted to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Best wishes on the next book. You gotta let us know when it's out.
Yeah.
Tag us in it, and then we'll definitely post all of your information and everything to the page. And keep on doing what you're doing out there. And Tanya, get them a challenge right quick.
Keely, you're so funny. Well, all my challenges are basically the same. Just keep doing what you're doing, finish strong. And if you did not do the challenge last week, I want to challenge everyone to do that this week, because this is another thing that's good that Phoenix could do. What would your 40-something self tell your 15-year-old self? So if you didn't finish that off, you need to do that this week, because there are so many people that can benefit from your wisdom. That's going through something that you went through in your younger years. So stop being selfish, because I don't think not one person shared on our page. I challenge you to share what you would do different. What would you tell your younger self?
Okay, that was the teacher coming out.
Right. That was it.
You did not do your homework. So we want to wish everybody a great week ahead. And, be careful when you guys are going out to those malls. Mask up, hand sanitize. If you can do some shopping online, do that. Stay healthy, stay safe. And think about the next person if you don't want to think about yourself. I don't know how to but stay safe, guys. And you guys have a good week.
You do the same. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye.